Destiny 2's newest exotic, the Barrow Dyad, is available now, and here's how you get it. There is no quest marker for this quest and no way to initiate it off the start. What you need to do is you need to go into the Nether in a private exploration. You can do this with a team or without, it's up to you. And what you're going to be looking for is a giant blight ball. Now it doesn't spawn every time, so you may need to load multiple instances of the Nether in a private session in order to get it to spawn. One of the easier areas to find the Blight Ball is in the Court of Oryx section of the Nether, and you can see it up there in the top right. First thing, clear out this room with all of the Dread and the Tormentor. You don't have to do this, but it does make it easier to do what you have to do in here. One thing you're going to want is you're going to want Strand for this because you do need to enter that Blight Ball. You're going to go all the way up to it, run into it, and once you do, you're going to come here. Now, in order to progress forward, there is a plate on the ground. I did it accidentally my first try, but there's a plate on the ground pointing the direction you need to go. You're going to stand on that plate, and then you're going to move in the direction that it's pointing. This will pull you into the other side of the room, and you can collect the Taken Osseous fragment. This is what initiates the quest. Once you've picked up that fragment, you're going to take it to the Taken slab in the last city and talk to Sloane, and she is going to give you the official quest in order to get the Barrow Dyad. The Taken Path. Now that you have the Taken Path, you're just basically going to follow exactly what it says to do. It's a pretty simple quest, pretty straightforward. There are some tricks to it, and we're going to get into that now. The first being that the Taken Path tells you to find a secret that the Hive have concealed in Sorrow's Harbor. What this means is you're going to go to Sorrow's Harbor on the moon, and you're going to go into the K1 Revelations Lost Sector. Once you're in that Lost Sector, it's going to look a little weird because it's not going to have any enemies inside of it. Instead, you're going to find a Blight Dome with a Blight Ball above it. You're going to shoot that Blight Ball and break it open, and it's going to reveal another one of those plates. Now, when you stand on this plate, it will tell you what it wants you to do. Again, probably walk forward or whatever it says. It's going to say something pulls you in a direction. You're going to walk in that direction. Now, I didn't get this at first. My teammate is actually the one that figured it out. And what happens is it initiates a combat phase and pulls you back to the beginning of the Lost Sector. Once you defeat all of the enemies, you'll have a large ogre enemy that is the hardest of them to beat, but it's not a terribly difficult enemy, very easily soloed. What you'll need to do is collect the next Taken Osseous fragment. It's going to spawn right where you killed the ogre, and that will initiate the next portion of the quest. Now this portion of the quest is the exact same as the first one, except it's going to be on the Forgotten Shore in the Cosmodrome. You're going to go there, you're going to go into the Lost Sector there, and same thing, you're going to be looking for a Blight Dome with a ball above it that you need to shoot. Now this one is buried in the tunnels of this Lost Sector, so just run around until you find it. It'll be in a room with a trap. You're going to shoot the ball off of it. Again, it will reveal a plate, and you need to do what that plate says. I believe it tells you to pulls you forward, and it will teleport you instead to a different plate. Same thing, you're going to stand on that next plate. It took us a second to realize that there was another plate on the ground, but you're going to stand on that next plate, and it'll pull you to another one, and then another one. After you've done all of them, it will initiate another combat phase. Now for this combat phase, it is not as straightforward as the other one where you just kill the enemies and then the fragment spawns. It's kind of follow the enemies. You're going to destroy them as you move back through the Lost Sector towards the beginning of where you initially found the Blight Dome and Ball. Once there will be a 3-barred yellow health enemy that you need to kill, and once killing them, you will get another fragment. Now at this point, you're going to go back to the slab in the Lost City and talk to Sloan again, and she's going to give you another portion of the test where you need to break 3 curses. Now these are very simple quests to do. Basically, you're going to be doing 3 different activities, and in them you're going to be using taken energy to kill enemies and then dunk into a well spot. The first being the Nightmare Hunt Pride on the moon. You're going to activate that, and at the end of the quest there will be a taken energy ball in the final battle that you'll use to actually complete that mission with. Now this is automatically matched with other people, so you will have a team to help you do this. It's quite simple. You basically just use the taken energy to kill all the enemies and to kill the Nightmare of Skolos. Once doing so, it will prompt you to dunk the energy into the well spot that's underneath the taken dome there. Once doing so, that will prompt the next part of the quest that says you have completed 1 of 3 curse breakings. Now you can do these curse breakings in any order you want to. We chose to go to the ADZ and the Hollowed Grove and go to the Lost Sector there. And it's the same as the Nightmare Hunt, except this time at the beginning of the Lost Sector you're going to get that taken energy. You're going to use it to complete the entire Lost Sector. Once doing so, there will be a spot to dunk it, and it will break that curse. Again, once doing so, it will prompt you to the next portion of the quest that says you have now broken 2 of the curses, and to do the third. The last is again back on the moon in the Altars of Sorrow. This one being, I think, kind of the most challenging, but also the most straightforward of the 3. In this one, all you need to do is complete 1 wave or 1 tier of Altars of Sorrow, killing enough enemies to fully complete your orb, and it will tell you to dunk it. The reason this one's the most challenging is because it actually takes quite a few shots to take down one of the nightmares with the taken energy, but if you have a couple people helping you, which there will be because there's always people doing this event, it shouldn't be too difficult. Now, I got credit for it when my teammate dunked it, so then I ended up actually just timing out with this. A good thing to note is that if you have the taken soul and your timer does reach 0, it will kill you. Now, we're not quite done yet. Yes, we've broken the 3 curses, but we're going to go back to the Nether to explore, and you can do this in a normal group or in a private one. We did it in a private one, just the 2 of us, but you can do it as a group if you want. What you're going to be doing in there is looking for 3 powerful Hive enemies. Now, these enemies are not going to be generally on the map. What you're going to do is you're going to be looking for statues, 1 in each of the 3 areas of the Nether. Now the first one is over on the left side of this hallway area. You're going to turn that on. It will spawn a taken Hive enemy, and you're going to kill it. And then once you kill it, another taken osseous fragment spawns for you. You're going to take that fragment, and it'll prompt the next portion, which is in the next section of the Nether. Now, it does not matter if you complete these in a specific order. You can do it in whatever order you want to. However, I would just do it in the order they come up. Some people like to reload and just try and get a different area. I just went ahead and completed the Nether because you get rewards anyways, so it's kind of worth it. Now this next statue is down towards the final boss. You're going to turn it on here. It's kind of tucked in the back, and it again will spawn a taken wizard. You kill the wizard, and it spawns your taken osseous fragment. Now this last one's kind of hard to explain where it is, but you're going to be looking for this opening here where it's kind of like a little cut out of the wall, and you have an entrance over there. Look for those kind of landmarks, and you'll see the final statue you need to activate. Once you again kill the taken wizard, it spawns the last fragment that you need. Now is where the actual exotic mission begins. That's right, all of these steps were just meant to get us to the point that we unlocked the exotic mission. Now the exotic mission is unlocked, and now I'm going to walk you through how to complete this mission. Once you spawn in, you're going to be at the taken area of the Nether, and you're just going to be facing off a bunch of dread enemies. Again, this mission is very soloable. I did it in a group here, but you can very much so do it solo if you choose to. Now, basically, you're just gonna kill all these dread. The only thing you need to worry about is the suffocating terror. Those eyeballs will be staring at you. If you're looking in their direction, you will gain stacks of suffocating terror. If you look away from them or break line of sight with them, that terror will start to go down. So you do want to be careful with that, because if you reach 20 stacks of suffocating terror, you will die and need to respawn. Luckily, this area is not a no respawn zone, so you won't need to restart or anything like that. It will just make it slower. Now note, there are some bigger enemies in this. You will be facing off against a subjugator as well as up to 3 tormentors. But once you finish fighting them, a taken portal will open up. You'll be able to cross through it, and it will pull you into the Ascendant plane. This is just like the Nether Ascendant plane. You're just going to traverse to the other side and go through the other taken portal. Once through the portal, you're going to notice that this is very much so just running the Nether. You're going to have some waves of enemies that you need to defeat, and once defeating them, you will face off against a subjugator in this area. Now, some things to note about this fight. The subjugator is going to go invulnerable a lot. Basically, what's going to be happening is it is going to be getting torn between dimensions, and when it's in a different dimension, it will be invulnerable to you. What's going to happen is, as you battle the waves of enemies, eventually a taken ogre is going to spawn, or 2. They're going to drop more of that taken energy that we used to break the curses. You're going to use that energy to kill taken in the area. Once you kill them and you gather enough, it will prompt you to dunk it. It's going to tear you between realities, and you're going to need to dunk that energy on top of one of the blight balls. When you're torn between the 2 dimensions, it will be very obvious. Your screen is going to go mostly gray, you're going to lose all the color, and that is your signal that you're torn between realities. What you're going to do is you're going to jump on these platforms that are now visible and solid for you. You're going to jump across them to get to the blight ball that you need to dunk into. You're basically going to go straight forward, you're going to jump onto it, and it will dunk the taken energy. This will allow you to then damage the subjugator. Now you're going to do this as many times as you need to push his health down to the point. There will be a break in his health bar, and this is going to prompt him to run to the front of the ship. And when he does so, he's going to create a taken ball. Once he does that, after a few seconds, you will be sucked into the ball with him, and this is very much so like the King's Fall encounter, where you're sucked into a Thunderdome with Oryx, and you're basically 1v1ing him. You're going to be sucked in there. All you need to do is kill the subjugator. Once you kill the subjugator, it will prompt the next portion of the mission. Now this next portion is called No Escape. It is much simpler than it is made out to be. Essentially, you're going to get 4 symbols that pop up ahead of you. You need to activate them in the order in which they appear. So you need to do E first, and then triangle, and then snow cone, and then turret. Now, to do this, if you go into a room and you step on the pad and the symbol that appears is not the one you need, you're going to not move. You need to stand still until reality tears ticks out, and you will be transported into the next room. Now it's very important that you don't move, because you may accidentally initiate the next one. They're very sensitive, like you'll see here in this next one. Luckily, we didn't move in this one, but this one, it happened to be the right one, but because of the way my teammate approached the pad, it activated it. We got lucky that it was the right one, but that is something to note, is you need to make sure you approach it from not the way it's pointing. Once you've activated all 4 in order, you'll be teleported to this room, to where it's just a simple jump puzzle. Not even really a puzzle, you just kind of go forward, you use the pads to jump up, and then jump across. If you have strand here, it might be easier, or an eager edge sword might even be easier. You're going to go straight here, and over there is a new taken osseous fragment for you. Once you collect this fragment, the blight ball in front of you is going to disappear, and there will be a hole in the wall behind you. I go to get my teammate up here so he can get the jump puzzle done, but as you can see, there's a hole here in this wall. You're going to jump through it, and it'll bring you down into here. Now, this next area is pretty straightforward, but it's basically one big jump puzzle. You're going to be going in and out of different walls inside of a tunnel and traversing your way forward. Now, once you get forward enough, it's going to block your way with a hive puzzle or hive wall that has 3 locks. What you want to do is, while you're jumping through these different areas, you're going to be looking for 3 stasis crystals. Now, I don't know if they're always in the same spots, so just keep an eye out as you're traversing through this different area and look throughout all the different wall sections. One thing to note is there are pokers that shoot out in some of the holes. They will launch you into the abyss. Just be aware of that. You're probably going to get hit by 1 or 2. They're annoying. I got hit by probably a dozen trying to do this, but just be aware of them. They're not that hard to dodge. Now, once you've found all 3 crystals, what you're going to do is you're going to make your way to the farthest right wall section, and you're going to climb as high up as you can. There is a pathway up at the top that you'll be able to take. You'll notice it because it will be, before destroying the crystals, it will be blocked by the 3 hive locks. Again, if you're able, I recommend having the strand grenade set so that you can pull yourself across if you have the ability to do so. If not, an eager edge sword or something similar so that you can traverse this area with ease. One thing to note is you can climb on the blight balls, so be aware of that. Don't be afraid to jump on those. They don't damage you. I know in a lot of instances that they can or do damage you. This is not one of those instances, so don't be afraid to jump on them and climb on them and use them as a resource to climb up. Now, the traversal from here gets much easier because there will be a waypoint for you. Just follow that waypoint until you reach the next area. This is where you're going to reach. It is a bridge leading up into a special room. You're going to enter this room. I thought at first you might need to stand on this pad, but you do not initially. That pad will come in later on in the fight that's about to happen. Now, there is a rally flag here. I suggest you use it, and once you move to the front of the room, you'll see my teammate here run up to the waypoint. This is where you get the Barrow Dyad. Now, to finish this fight, it's really quite simple. You're going to be split between worlds multiple times, again, like you were when fighting the Subjugator. This time you're going to be fighting a specific taken enemy and non-taken enemy. Now, you're going to swap between damage phases on either the taken enemy or the non-taken enemy. You can use the new gun, or you can use what you're comfortable with. Doesn't really matter. Being that as it is, once you get the health low enough, you will end up killing the non-taken enemy. Once you kill the non-taken enemy, its damage will stop here for a second. And one thing to note, the taken enemy is going to be sucked into another bubble. Please note here, do not, and I repeat, do not charge the bubble or the blight, and do not charge the taken enemy when he comes out of the blight, because he will basically one-shot you. As you see here, I was like, let's fight, and I instantly died. My teammate actually closed out the rest of this mission for me, but basically what happens is once that blight disappears and the new taken enemy is there, you're going to go out onto that pad that we saw earlier, and you're going to stand on it until it initiates. It will lock the door and end the mission for you. That is how you complete it. Very straightforward. If you are soloing it, use something that uses a lot of visibility and or devour, something simple to execute so that you can survive inside of that little Thunderdome. Now I hope this guide helped you get the Barrow Dyad. If it did, leave a like, comment, I'll answer any questions you may have. If you want to see me do this stuff live, I'm live every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday starting at 4 p.m. PST on Twitch and YouTube at VibeOps Gamer or VibeOps Gaming on YouTube. Stay tuned because as it becomes available, we're going to be releasing a guide on how to get the catalyst and the different perks available for the Barrow Dyad. So make sure to subscribe and we'll see you in the next video.